We are on day 6 of the Oregon Coast Trail. I have a little bit of a change in plans from what I was going to do yesterday. So I'm going to start the day going over Cape Lookout, and it's the morning, so I actually know the name of it right now. But I am desperate for some beach camping. I already missed one opportunity. The next opportunity is 22 miles from here, and that is what I wanted to do. But looking at my options last night, I'm kind of zero to heroing this trail in that I didn't really do much prep or physical training beforehand, so those 19-20 mile days kind of wrecked me. Last night I looked and I had all sorts of rashes and blisters from that 19-mile day. So 22 is doable, but would hurt a lot. My legs are getting better. I'm sure soon they'll be back to their thru hiker shape. But instead, I'm gonna stop in Pacific City, hotel there. Because after Pacific City and before the beach camping is a 7-mile road walk. Several of those miles are on US 101. I think it's a better idea to do that in the morning than night or evening. So stopping in Pacific City instead of doing my beach camping. Oh, it's also supposed to rain for several hours tonight, so yeah, maybe a hotel's better. Anyway, so going over Cape Lookout. I've got, seems like quite a bit of beach walking today. I also have a very interesting ford of Sand Creek, and then I will be stopping in Pacific City, or hopefully I will be getting a burrito. So speaking of road walks, I'm actually going to start my day with one. Trailhead is about 2.5 miles this way, and that's because the trail on the north side of the Cape is closed right now. So substituting 2 miles of trail with 2.5 miles of road walk. Well, my morning was rewarded with a banana slug. Usually the banana slugs that you know of, that you hear of, are much more bright yellow than that, but that is technically a banana slug. The ones that are bright yellow are just a lot of fun. Just about to hook back up with the trail. The south side of that actual hiking trail is open. Not going to take the detour to Cape Lookout viewpoint itself. It is very foggy, and that's a 5-mile detour, so not particularly worth it. So I'm just gonna take the trail down the south side of the Cape to the beach. And there's the closure gate for the North Trail. Passing mile 100 on the trail. I haven't quite done 100 miles myself because that's the official with the Tillamook Bay Road Walk. But it's a 413-mile trail, so in a little bit I will have officially completed a quarter of the track. Here we go! An actual banana slug. Look at that, they're so cool. They're so bright yellow, they are aptly named banana slugs. That's awesome. Almost down to the beach at this point. Coming out onto the beach. I've got Cape Lookout, or at least part of Cape Lookout, in front of me. And I've got maybe a 4-mile beach walk before I have to kind of come inland a little bit to cross a ford. Still a very foggy day. Look at it this way. But you can see the thick fog was higher up on the Cape itself. Aha, we have some fairly intact sea jellies here. This one is a sea nettle. This one is a moon jelly. And then there's just bits of other ones on the beach too. And lion's mane, look at that. A lot of diversity on this beach here. And a lot of these sea jellies are still intact, so you can identify them. I did study up on my sea jellies slash jellyfish, just because I've been seeing them all over every beach I've been walking on. And another one, this is a water jelly. These are really cool because at night they actually produce bioluminescence, like in the water when they're alive. So, if you can see through the fog, there's a sign here. Let's see if I can zoom in. And that marks the boundary to the OHV area. I've been hearing them all morning. They're loud. So this stuff coming off the Cape, turn around a little bit, was nice, pristine, and relaxed. And now I have the potential to run into some vehicles on the beach, but hopefully we can all share. See a sign, hopefully that marks the end of the OHV area. Most people were giving me plenty of room at first, but as I've gotten closer to this area where I think they come in, I've definitely gotten exhaust from people getting way too close to me. Approaching the Sand Lake outlet, it appears it is crossable. It looks crossable right now, especially with people waiting around that other shore, but it sounds like it's only crossable at very low tides. And the tides have transitioned to neap tide, so even though it's just maybe an hour past low tide at this point, low tide is not that low. So I've got to go up the creek a little bit, where even at the creek, I could potentially get thigh deep in the crossing. These people even seem to be getting a boat through this section, so it looks deceptively crossable, but again, I'm just gonna go further up to where there's like a mud flat where it's a little shallower. Okay, ankle deep on this first one. That is not the one I'm worried about. It's the one further over here. Can literally see the tide flowing back in here. Tendrils creeping up. Whew. Okay. Admittedly, you zoom out a little bit. Chest deep, but I made it. The alternate was a road walk, but it's a long and dangerous road walk, so that wasn't pretty, but obstacle conquered. Alright, so the left of the sand flat here is Whalen Island. There is a campground there. It's marked as like a water supply stop for hikers, but I think I'm going to take my lunch there. Take a nice long lunch and dry out a little bit. Just came up from the mud flats to this Whalen Island campground. And looks like there's some day use picnic tables here. So I'm gonna stop at one. Okay, I was leaning forward a little bit, but looks like the water came up to the bottom part of that mesh part on my bag. Everything's in waterproof cases there anyway, or bags there anyway. Everything in the mesh should be fine, but yeah, I probably towed the line with being able to cross that. Low tide was about a full foot higher than when somebody recorded it being, mid-thigh height, and that's how mid-thigh goes to waist, is if it's a foot higher when you're crossing. Heading out of Whalen Park, I'm about to cross the bridge for the channel here. This is the bigger channel that's not crossable. So with this trail, if you can get a really, really low tide, you can cross the mouth, the outlet back there, but otherwise you gotta cross that one channel that I crossed, and then this bridge, take the road a little bit, and then cut back in. Okay, leaving the scary road via Sitka Sedge State Natural Area. That will take me back to the beach. You can actually see the island park I stopped at. That's that bit of land right there. Alright, popping back out onto the beach, fueled by huckleberries. Oh, you can see Cape Lookout in the distance. That was a long workaround for that one outlet. But I have maybe about 4.5 more miles of beach hiking, punctuated by a small cape that I need to go over, and then I'll hit Pacific City. My socks are still a little damp, so thinking I might just take off my shoes, at least for this first section of the beach walk. It's actually a good thing I'm hiking barefoot, because most of these beaches have a little bit of a rise right there, and once the waves punch through it, they come really far down here. So that just happened because I'm on a rising tide right now. Feels really good to hike through the shallow water though. Alright, I'm on another drivable section of the beach. This is not OHVs though, this is regular four-wheel drive vehicles, and they're going slower and give me plenty of room. But in front of me is Cape Kiwanda, and that's a saddle I need to go over to get to that final stretch of Pacific City. And I was looking at the map, hoping that there was an actual trail and I didn't have to climb that sand dune. But I think I have to climb that sand dune. If you've ever climbed a sand dune, you know it's exhausting. That car got stuck and it's being towed out by another car. Oh wow. I think we just missed it because I was wondering if that car was stuck, but yeah, that truck pulled it out. You can see all the wood that they put under the tires. That's where they got stuck as the tide came in. It seems to be running now. And that Subaru full of young guys got stuck again on their way out and need another truck to help them. Sand dune at the end of the day, after already walking through some soft sand. This is a new one for me through hiking. There is a path here. I'm gonna see where it leads. If not, I'm just gonna try to hit that lowest part of the saddle. Okay, almost to the top. Looking back at the beach I just came from. All the cars seem to be going home for the day. Hopefully that Subaru got out of there. And getting my first glimpses into Pacific City. Still have to get over this saddle though. Final stretch of the day across Pacific City Beach, which is surprisingly busy. Okay, this is my hotel for the night, and literally a block away is a Mexican restaurant, so I have a well-earned burrito in my future. I have my burrito. We can officially end the day. I would not have made it to beach camping today. I rolled in here pretty late, and then it's a 7-mile road walk. part of which I probably would have done in the dark. So good decision to stop here. I get to spend the night inside when it's supposed to rain, so that's good. So tomorrow I start off my day with that 7-mile road walk. Then I'm going to have a beach walk into the town of Neskowin. And then after that, I'm going to start the rainforest alternate on this trail that goes through a temperate rainforest. And temperate rainforest, I know it's going to be slick and stuff, but they just intrigue me. So I'm going to do that alternate. But it is the national forest, so you can actually disperse camp there. It's one of the few places on this trail you can disperse camp. So I'm excited for that tomorrow.